Debaters ready? Debaters, are you ready to start? I'm ready when you are to do the clock.
Ready. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed agitators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is, this House believes the government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this motion because free health care is a basic human right. We define health care as the organized provision of a medical care to individuals or a community. We define free health care as the act of all citizens and residents ensured access to health care. We define government as the people controlling or the prime authority of the country and a figure who makes macro decisions. I, as first speaker, will be discussing the importance for free healthcare during the corona crisis, as well as discussing how free healthcare is a basic human right. My second speaker will be discussing how a healthy population makes for a better country, as well as how developed countries can afford universal healthcare. My third speaker will give a clear and concise rebuttal of honorable team opposition's case. Finally, my reply speaker will sum up our team's arguments and present to you why our team has made our case. My first point, now on to my case. My first point is that free healthcare is important for people as the corona crisis is still continuing. For example, if a family or a member of that family is showing symptoms of COVID-19, but is not financially steady enough to pay for the treatment, they might die. According to an article published on April 29, 2020, 1 in 7 Americans would not seek coronavirus treatment as it costs too much and could not afford it. This shows us that the cost of healthcare is not allowing these types of people to receive it and could put them in a potential risk of spreading it to their families or others. This will cause the number of cases to increase and the country to go backwards. This will not help with solving the pandemic within a country or globally. Free healthcare is necessary to prevent these from happening. Secondly, free healthcare is a basic human right. For example, if there's a man dying on the ground, would you be asking him for his card or money? What if his card declines or he doesn't have enough money? Would this paid healthcare system let him die for the sake of money? Surely team opposition agrees with this. Ladies and gentlemen, the basic human rights are food, shelter, and health. If even one of these are missing, our lives and well-being will take a turn. And this is one of the very reasons why healthcare and medical care are a fundamental right, just as inscribed in the Article 25 of the UN's Declaration of Human Rights, stating, everyone has a right to a standard living adequate for the health of and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care. By law, everyone should be able to get access to healthcare. At this moment of a health crisis, it is upon us. People should not have to be asked for money to pay for their hospital bills, as people might already have a shortage of money. Paid healthcare will only worsen their financial standards. Free healthcare is necessary to prevent these from happening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the motion before us today is, this House believes government should provide healthcare to residents and citizens. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this motion because healthcare is a basic human right. Thank you all for listening.
First speaker of the opposition ready?
Yes. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is this House believes that the government should provide free health care to all citizens and residents. As the opposition, we strongly disagree with this motion because free health care comes at too high of a cost. We define free health care as having unlimited access to hospital treatments, doctor appointments, and dental care. I, as first speaker, will be discussing how free healthcare will lead to lower income for healthcare workers and how the quality of service may not be as satisfactory due to lack of money. My second speaker will be discussing how free healthcare will deteriorate the economy and its health and will increase tax rates immensely. My third speaker will give a clear and concise rebuttal of the honorable team opposition's case. Finally, the reply speaker will sum up our team's arguments and present to you why our team has made our case. First, I will offer a brief rebuttal of team proposition's first speaker. So the team proposition's first speaker had mentioned that free healthcare is needed for COVID-19, but with the new vaccine, if nobody's paying for healthcare, then it would be a lot harder for hospitals to afford to keep getting vaccines to treat people and
information
against. Yes.
Are you aware that the COVID vaccine is free?
Yes, for the consumers, but it has to come from somewhere. But now on to my case. One reason there should not be universal health care is due to the long waiting times. What my honorable opponents were proposing would make our people unhealthier. As many people are probably aware, sitting in the waiting room of the doctor's office already takes a very long time. Imagine waiting even longer for a life-threatening disease or a broken arm. Imagine how much pain you would be in. In Canada, it takes almost 20 weeks to get professional medical help. This takes too long and might have serious repercussions to someone's health. Why would so many people wait to get medical attention? Surgical wait times have become a visible and upfront quality indicator in the universal healthcare systems of many nations. According to Fraser Institute, wait times for healthcare in Canada have lengthened considerably over the past 2 decades. The estimated typical waiting time, as stated by the Institute, has risen from 9.3 weeks in 1993 to 18.2 weeks in 2013. That concludes my point. No, thank you. That concludes my point, and the evidence provided here illustrates my argument fittingly. I will now be discussing the difference in the care the clients are receiving due to the lack of money going towards healthcare centers. Although free healthcare may seem like a good deal for the clients, it does have its flaws. A massive difference would be the quality of care. If health centers aren't getting the same income as they would normally get from paying clients, money would be tight when it comes to purchasing medical equipment, such as x-rays or ventilators. For example, the majority of hospitals in London, where healthcare is free, can no longer afford most modern scanners or surgical equipment to treat cancer patients. This became a massive problem in May 2018, in an instance where around 200 patients had to be rescanned because the images of their lumps, tumors, and broken bones were such poor quality from lesser-end scanners. If medical centers don't have the right equipment to treat patients, how would it benefit the community? Are we really willing to sacrifice the quality of our medical services just because it is free? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the motion before us today is that this House believes that the government should provide free healthcare to all. As the opposition, we strongly disagree with the motion because free healthcare comes at too high of a cost. Thank you.
Judges ready? Second speaker of proposition ready?
I'm ready.
Can I start now? Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is this House believes that all government should provide all citizens and residents with free healthcare. As for the proposition, we strongly agree with this motion because we believe that healthcare is a basic human right. First, I will offer a rebuttal of Team Opposition's first honorable speaker. Team Opposition mentioned that the quality and treatment would decrease. This is not so, because if we search up the best quality healthcares in the world, it comes up with Iceland, Italy, and Canada. What do these all have in common? Free healthcare. You mentioned the competition in the market would also not make it so. The competition in the private sector market would be exploding right now if what you said was true in most countries. Now onto my case. Ladies and gentlemen, I would argue that a government that offers free healthcare to all its citizens is investing in its society. An example of a country is Canada or Denmark. A healthy population means more workers and therefore less people that rely on the government. In spite of COVID, employment rose by 2% in Canada in September 2020. In addition, the number of low-wage employees dropped by 1/5 in September. Lastly, the unemployment rate declined for the fourth consecutive month in 1.2%. If we search up the countries that have the highest employment rates in the world, the results are Iceland, Germany, Norway, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Denmark. What do all of these countries have in common? They all give free healthcare. Now, let us take a look at a country that does not give free healthcare. Let the US be an example. The US suffered from a 6.9% decrease in unemployment in September 2020. China suffered from a decrease of 3.6% of unemployment in 2021 as well. In conclusion, we can see from these facts and examples that countries that have free healthcare have less unemployment struggles in these COVID times. Also, the countries with the most employment have free healthcare. The governments that have more workers will have to pay less sickness and unemployment benefits. This is why countries should give free healthcare. Not now, thank you. On to my second point. Let me tell you a story. Olivia is 27 years old. She's a single mother of 2 kids. She has a job, but she has difficulty paying rent and paying for food. She doesn't have a health insurance because she can't afford it. Tell me what would happen to her if her and her children needed expensive health care. Like Olivia in the US, which is meant to be the top economy in the world, 30 million people live under poverty. We cannot allow that many people to suffer the consequences of healthcare inequality. This situation affects the economy because now there are children and Olivias that don't have homes and care. In the US, there are approximately 2.5 million kids that are homeless. Those millions of kids that are on the streets won't get the education that they need to get a future job. This, in turn, affects the economy by having less workers. In conclusion, all the countries in the world should provide at least basic free health services. We cannot live in a society where the disparity between those who have a lot of money and those who are in need is so great. Once again, the motion before us today is this House believes that government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. Thank you.
Judges ready? Opposition second speaker ready?
Yes. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. First of all, I would like to offer a rebuttal of team proposition. You argue that free healthcare is a human right, but you have failed to realize that in the recent coronavirus pandemic, the UK government will not treat patients with learning disabilities. If healthcare is a human right, then why are they doing this? Shouldn't they help everyone? Team proposition believes that the government should provide all citizens and residents with healthcare. They have argued that it will be better for the people and the country. We as team opposition strongly disagree. Free healthcare comes at too high a cost. Team proposition's proposal will actually make the people sicker and ruin our economy. We think that free healthcare is not free. Someone is paying for the healthcare, and I'm sure that we all know that it will be the taxpayers. Luckily, we can look to other countries with free government-provided healthcare. Let's look at the top tax rates for these countries. In the UK, the top tax rate is 45%, and in no, thank you. And in Canada, the top tax rate is 58%. Sure, healthcare is free in these countries, but at what cost? Can you imagine what it does to a family to pay 58% of their earnings in taxes? Families paying this tax rate will not want to earn, may try and avoid taxes or leave the country altogether. This will put a higher burden on the remaining residents and citizens. What about international businesses? Their taxes will definitely have to rise as well, which would cause many to leave the island, taking their jobs, rents, and spending away forever. Government healthcare means bigger government and more taxes. More taxes will take money from our families and drive away international business, which is a major pillar of our economy. Government debt in Bermuda is almost $3 billion, with interest on the debt being over $120 million a year. Government cannot afford to pay healthcare for everyone. Team proposition thinks that it will be cheaper for everyone, but why would that be? Our population has health problems, and those won't go away just because people are not paying.
COI,
Yes.
we're not saying that healthcare will be cheaper. We are trying to say that free healthcare would mean that they will not have to worry about the cost of their healthcare, no matter what treatment they are getting. And in order to receive that money being lost, the government will have to raise taxes. Wouldn't you agree that this is wouldn't you agree that this is a better way to solve this solution instead of people leaving the country?
It will be paying for their healthcare, but not directly. Thank you. Okay. If it's cheaper, then healthcare will be worse, as my first speaker has outlined. Team opposition is not heartless and wants the best healthcare for our citizens and residents, but free healthcare is not better for our families. Let's look at the government healthcare system during the recent coronavirus pandemic. The UK provides free healthcare for all its citizens and residents and has struggled with the pandemic response, resulting in lower testing and higher deaths. Even more scary, the toll on the healthcare system, which relies almost entirely on the government, has resorted to rationing with a small private sector for healthcare. The government decides who lives and who dies. In January, the Guardian newspaper in the UK reported that National Healthcare Service would not treat patients with COVID-19 if they had a learning disability. If the government has decided that they will let their citizens die if they have a learning disability, why would we want a system here that allows the government to play God? Our country has taxes and takes care of many poor families, but we also try and maintain.
COI?
No, thank you. High tax rates will ruin our families and our economy. Team opposition has proposed a counter model where the government provides basic health care for those who need it, but those who can pay should pay. Once again, the motion today is this House believes that government should provide all citizens and residents with health care.
COI?
No, thank you. Team opposition does not agree that the government should provide all citizens and residents with healthcare because free healthcare comes at too high a price. Thank you.
Judges ready? And third speaker for prop ready?
Hi, yes, I'm ready. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is this House believes that the government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this motion because healthcare is a basic human right. Firstly, I will offer a systematic rebuttal of team opposition's argument. You said that taxes will rise. However, with universal healthcare, you will not have to pay for any healthcare, as an average family of three spends over $3,522 per month on healthcare. They will have that money for taxes and other things like needs and wants, which means they will be able to happily afford their living conditions and pay for taxes at the same time. Firstly, honorable team opposition argued that an increase in wait time for medical care will happen if we use universal health care. However, this point failed because Iceland, let's take Iceland for example, has universal health care and has a reasonable wait time and an incredible quality of health care. The hospital, PRI accepted.
Okay, so you say that wait times won't be that bad, but let's take France for example. The wait time it's gonna take like 4 weeks. Like 50% of people have to wait 4 weeks to get medical attention, but in the US where healthcare is private, only 5% of people have to wait 4+ weeks. Why is this?
I don't know how to answer that, and I'm sorry. Maybe you should ask someone else. That is not part of my point, and I'm sorry that I cannot answer that. Anyway, continuing on. The Hospital of Toronto is also located in a developed universal healthcare country, which is in Canada. The wait time is perfectly reasonable and is one of the best hospitals in the world. Secondly, team opposition argued that the following universal healthcare will worsen the quality of life and medical care. However, this argument fails because Iceland, Italy, and Canada have the best healthcare in the world, all three of which have free healthcare. New Zealand is another country with free healthcare, and economy is incredible, and it has almost zero to none COVID cases. One reason of this is because of the easy to access healthcare. Healthy population, happy economy. Healthcare is a basic human right and should and will be provided to all using universal healthcare, which is why New Zealand and Iceland are having good times. Thirdly, team opposition argued taxes will rise. However, this fails because if the government decides to take a page out of New Zealand's book, they would be able to put money aside for healthcare and still have enough money to pay off debt and other things. The taxes will not rise because the government has left a split section of money off for medical care. This will not increase taxes and everyone will be able to be happy with their lives. Finally, point of information declined. Finally, team opposition argued debt will increase and the government will choose who lives and dies. However, this fails because debt will not increase as more workers will generate more money, which will generate more profit and taxpayers. With more taxpayers, the government will be paid and they will have enough money to pay for healthcare and to pay off the debt. Also, are you aware that if the government decided and chose how to disperse their own medical care, that would be a form of socialism? Socialism is when the government decides how to control and disperse certain things in the economy. The government is not socialist. The American government is not socialist. Almost no governments in the world are socialist, and you should be aware of this. Once again, the motion for today is this House believes the government should provide free healthcare for all citizens and residents with free healthcare, citizens and residents. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this because the healthcare is a human right. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your day.
Judges ready? And opposition third speaker ready?
Yes. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is this House believes that government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. As the opposition, we strongly disagree with this motion because free healthcare comes at too high a cost. First, I will offer a systematic rebuttal of the team proposition's arguments. Firstly, honorable team proposition argued that free healthcare is a human right. This argument failed because although free healthcare is commonly viewed as a human right, it was never really promised. For example, in America's Declaration of Independence, nowhere in the Declaration of Independence does it say that there's a right to healthcare. It simply says to promote general welfare, not to provide it. Therefore, the government should not feel a need to provide healthcare, as it is not a right, it is a privilege. The government and society would have to overcome great changes to get free healthcare. The government should not feel pressured or obligated to give free healthcare, and this can put immense stress upon the government, which could lead to internal corruption. Secondly, honorable team proposition argued that taxes would be gradual or not at all. However, this argument failed because the beginning of free healthcare is when they need the most money due to new equipment for the increasing number of clients and even new doctors' offices. Therefore, not only will tax increase be at a concerning
information
declined, but hardworking households will be struggling to keep up with these rising numbers. Not only will people struggle to pay taxes, but they will also avoid paying taxes. This is called tax evasion and is an extremely imminent problem. This caused places such as Canada to raise laws against tax evasion, so people who simply forgot taxes would be charged immensely.
Point of information.
Then I'm going to decline in fines of 50 to 200% times the amount of tax paid, or up to 5 years of imprisonment. Thirdly, honorable team proposition argued that it could save many lives and raise general public health. Although free healthcare could save lives, how many lives are in danger? Even though wait based on yes.
You had said that the government had said that everyone should have the right to sustained living. However, I'm not sure where you have received this information, as I have clearly stated that it is inscribed in the Article 25 of the UN's Declaration of Human Rights.
Could you repeat that? I did not hear what you said.
I am unsure of where you have found the information of the government stating that everyone should have should not have the right. You had said that something about the government and human rights. However, I'm not sure where you received that information, because I have clearly stated in my argument that I have stated that in Article 25 of the UN's Declaration of Human Rights, not anything to do with the government.
I already previously went over this. This is proven information, and I already discussed this previously. That's not what I'm talking about right now. For example, you could have to wait up to 12 hours to be attended to a bursting appendix, which is something that could be attended to immediately. Not only will lives be lost in wait times, but quality is something that will gradually decrease. Another point that I would like to go over is the increase of public health. Although public health will increase, it will be quite a gradual, small increase. This can be proven through the top 10 countries with the best overall health. Majority of the nations could not depend fully on free healthcare and have their patients pay for at least a significant portion. As my first speaker previously mentioned, the majority of hospitals in London, where healthcare is free, can no longer afford most modern scanners or surgical equipment to treat cancer patients. This causes unnecessary rescans and wasted time for the doctors. Finally, honorable team proposition argued that it could stop medical financial situations. These medical bankruptcies don't just go away. For people who are already in medical debt cannot regain all the money they lost on healthcare, and the deep debt that is almost unavoidable and can be passed down through generations of their family, which could take decades to pay it all off. That is a very uneasy thing to get around due to money does not grow on trees. It has to come from somebody. It would be hard for the government to assess situations such as this, resulting in more laws, and nations that are freedom-loving, such as America, would protest these new laws being passed, resulting in a divided community and unfair situations. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, and esteemed adjudicators, the motion before us today is that government should provide all citizens and residents with health care.
As the opposition, we strongly disagree with this motion because free healthcare comes at too high cost. Thank you.
Okay, judges are ready. Is the reply speaker for the opposition ready?
Yes.
Great.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, honorable opponents, esteemed adjudicators, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is, this House believes that the government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. We as team opposition disagree with this motion as free healthcare comes at too high of a cost. I will now explain why we believe that we have a better case. First, I would like to restate what my team has mentioned. As my first speaker has stated, free healthcare will lead to lower income for healthcare workers, and the quality of service may not be as satisfactory due to lack of money. As my second speaker has stated, free healthcare will deteriorate the economy and its health and will increase tax rates immensely. Overall, these flaws in the free healthcare plan would completely ruin the economy, as well as the general public. Team Proposition failed to support their argument on how wait times will not increase. Also, Honorable Team Proposition has failed to realize that taxes will rise. How will people have a good quality of life if they are drowning in taxes? Also, they argued that the government has a separate section of money for healthcare, but what happens when this money runs out? Overall, although free healthcare seems like a good deal to the public, it will ruin our economy and our community. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the motion before us today is, this House believes that the government should provide all citizens and residents with healthcare. As team opposition, we strongly disagree with the motion because free healthcare comes at too high of a cost. Thank you.
Judges, are you ready? And last but not least, the reply speaker for the proposition.
Yes. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators, honorable opponents, and members of the floor. The motion before us today is, this House believes the government should provide all citizens and residents with health care. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this motion because it is a basic human right. The broad areas of disagreement between ourselves and team oppositions today are waiting lines and quality of healthcare. I will begin our reply speech firstly by restating my team's case. I, as first speaker, had argued that free healthcare is important for people during the corona crisis, as well as how it is a basic human right. Our second speaker argued that a healthy population makes for a better country. Our third speaker delivered a systematic rebuttal of honorable team opposition's case about waiting lines, quality of healthcare, debt, and people leaving the country. We believe that our opponent's case is flawed and has not been made. I will now demonstrate how and why. Honorable team opposition had said Canada has long waiting lines. However, in Toronto, there are very short waiting lines in some hospitals, so therefore this argument has failed. Having free healthcare means paying more taxes. However, France, an example you had mentioned, does not have free healthcare. However, they have high taxes, so this argument has also failed. Quality of healthcare does not change as there are residents and citizens paying taxes. Even though people leave the country, those taxes will rise in order to substitute those money being lost, and therefore it will not affect the quality of the healthcare. Debt should not be considered important over lives. Really, lives over money. And even though they are in debt, investing in people's healthcare would be a much better approach than to invest it in the debt. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the motion before us today is, this House believes that governments should provide all citizens and residents with healthcare. As a proposition, we strongly agree with this motion, as it is a basic human right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
All right, ladies, everybody there? Sorry to keep you waiting. 3 judges trying to figure out how 2 in Bermuda speak to the 1 in England. First of all, well done. It's a long day, debating all day today. And well done, both of the BHS teams, for reaching the finals. I just wanted to say myself, I think the teamwork on both teams was very, very good. And in the environment we're in, where you're not even in the same rooms with each other, that's pretty astonishing. So well done, everybody, for excellent teamwork. You supported each other. First speaker said what everybody was going to say, and the rest of you said it. We like that. Susan, you want to peek in with anything?
Oh gosh. Well, this was the kind of debate that we really like, because it just went from one side to the other from strength to strength, and was, for me, just quite an evenly matched debate on both sides. Each side had flaws, but it was countered by strengths. So it was one of those where, you know, get to the final speakers and just without any real clear indication of which way it was going to go. So for me, it was very, very close, very topical motion. And I think you all did very well. You're obviously very, very comfortable speaking, which is admirable. And we hope you all keep debating and keep it up. And I'll turn it over to Meishka if she wants to add comments.
Just very, very close debate, so very well done. Thank you very much. All of you did an amazing job, and it's always nice to learn something new. So thank you and congratulations.
Are we allowed to tell them?
Yeah.
Is that our job?
I believe so.
Because when it's finals, when we're all there, it gets done in a big final thing.
Oh.
But presumably we can let them know. They're all there on tenterhooks.
No one has said otherwise. For nationals, we always do, but this is kind of a hybrid spring nationals. So honestly, I'm not sure.
Well, let's go for it. And they can come and find me in England if we're wrong. So ladies, it was that close that you actually have a split decision. That's always a great thing because it means that both teams delivered well because all of you persuaded at least one judge. So very well done. And by a close decision, these three judges have given the debate to the prop. So well done, team proposition. You can speak to us now.
Everyone can unmute. I think the only thing I would say in general is that just to recommend that you embrace the points of information, and the more you do, the more points of information you take, the better you'll learn how to turn them to your own advantage. I think there were a couple of opportunities for some speeches to have been extended with maybe more clash, more dialogue if points of information had been taken. So I think that's one thing I would just put it out to all of you.
Yeah, especially if you're a little bit concerned about time. If your time is running a little bit short, take a point of information. Think about it a little bit while. It's a great way to fill up your time. We've been judging for an incredibly long time. Some of the judges we've judged in debates. So, you learn to fill your time by letting somebody else do the talking for you. Did you all train together, ladies?
Yes, we.
Yeah. You're lucky that way. It helps. BHS has always had strong teams. You don't know, but I worked there a long time ago and you've been winning since then. So well done, girls. I'm really, really proud of you. And well done, judges.
This was a challenging one. It was very challenging. You didn't make it easy on us, all of you, but it was very enjoyable. It was very exciting. So, and I had not had a chance to see that motion debated earlier today. I did the senior school, so it was a real treat. Thank you very much.
That's a good point, Susan, because I hadn't seen it either. I did the impromptu, so you actually had two completely fresh judges listening to you. Your coach is gone. Girls, make sure you thank your coach. She's just checked out. I wanted to actually let your coach know, and any of your parents that are there, just let them know how glad we are that they're supporting you in debating. All right, I'm going to bed. See you all.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. You're welcome.
Meishka, it's just you and me.
All right,
unmute.
I'm about to sign off now. Enjoy the balance of your evening.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel like I should go to some prize giving celebration. I sent them photos of the trophies so they can at
Oh,
least hold up a picture.
nice. I'm sure they'll appreciate them once they're engraved.
Yeah.
I
So I'm
gotta
not
run.
sure.
Take
Yeah,
care.
where do we go? I can hear Coy in the background. Anyway, nice seeing you on
Likewise.
Zoom.
Bye-bye.
Bye.